guys, Logan here with Logan Built. Today's video is kind of a customer request video. I had a customer reach out to me that had some questions about installing battery disconnect on his truck, had some questions about relocating the battery, what is NHRA legal, and that kind of stuff. So he was like, hey, you should make a video about this. So I was like, you know what, I probably should. So if you're gonna relocate your battery, it's super simple. There's no real rule as to where you can put the battery as far as NHRA goes. The only rule is that if you do relocate the battery from the factory position, that you have to install a quick disconnect switch, so a master power shutoff switch. So to start by talking about how to relocate the battery, pretty much any battery tray that you want to buy will work. When we go to the back and I show you how mine's set up, we'll talk about a couple legal things with that goes. But as far as the wiring goes, it's super simple. Don't be intimidated by this. It's very easy. So from the factory, your main power cable from your battery will come to this post on your starter here. And from here, there will be a wire that goes to your main fuse box. It's the same deal on the way your race truck or race car is wired up. So basically you'll do the same thing. Wherever you put your battery, you'll run a main power cable to this post on your starter, and that will still power the vehicle the way that it was before. If you're running an alternator, like a one-wire deal, make sure that you don't run that battery cable off of the alternator directly back to the battery, because when you pull your master power shut off, if that's not in line with it, it won't shut it off. What I would do is I would just wire it back to this post here. So just run your battery cable from the alternator back to this starter post here. So that's as simple as it is as far as relocating the battery wiring wise. So now I'm going to take you to the back of my truck and show you a couple legal things, what you need to do, and how mine's set up. Hey guys, interrupting your video here for just a second to tell you about a Planetary gear upgrade that I do to all of my 4748s above 1,000 horsepower. This is the front Planetary gear in your 4748. And as you can see, this is a helical cut design in the gear. So what this does is this is a normal thrust washer. When you get around the 1,000 horsepower range, that helical cut will actually push into this thrust washer here, and it will prematurely wear it out. So I do a rollarized front bearing in this to prevent that from happening. So any build above 1,000 horsepower that I do gets one of these bearings, and that solves all of your thrust washer issues. Now, back to your video. Okay, so starting with wiring back here. Essentially all you'll do is, this is my power terminal on my battery. You'll make a cable that goes from that power terminal to this one side of your master shutoff. Master shutoffs are designed to be push off and pull on if you have this style. If you have a turn style, it'll have a label on it that says on and off, but if it's a push-pull style, it's designed to be push to turn it off, pull to turn it on. And then from the other side of the terminal post, that's where you'll run your battery cable to your starter. So super simple on wiring that up. There's no real rule to where you mount this. Pretty much just mount it however it works in the vehicle for you. If you do any type of master shutoff, it has to be labeled. So mine has a push off sticker here. So if you have a turnstile, it'll have to have an on and off on it. That is an NHRA requirement. And then as far as the battery tray goes, the only NHRA requirement is that you have two 3/8 studs or bolts that contain the battery. So I have a really basic, just a tray in this, and I have two 3/8 all thread, and that's what holds mine down. So there's really not a ton of rules on it. Just make sure you have it contained with 3/8 bolts. Make sure that your on and off switch is labeled, and that's pretty much it. Don't let this stuff intimidate you guys. It's super simple. You don't have to be really good with wiring or a wiring genius to do something like this. It's really something that anybody is more than capable of doing. And then while we're back here, let's talk about grounds real quick. So I just have one ground off of my battery that goes to a nice chassis ground. And then there's a ground on my engine that goes to the chassis, and that's it. I run a smart wire setup in this. So the smart wire has you make 3 separate grounds, one to the chassis, one to the body, and they prefer one to the battery, and I actually do have mine coming back, tying into the battery ground. So between that, this thing is grounded more than good enough. A lot of guys will run this ground all the way to the engine or all the way to the computer, fuse box, whatever setup you're trying to run. But if you have a smart wire setup, it's definitely not needed. And I think most of the time, as long as you have a good ground system, that you don't need to run that big heavy cable all the way there. So that's about all I got for this one, guys. Hope you found it helpful. Just a quick little video. It's just something I thought I could throw together really quick, and hopefully you guys find it useful. So like always, appreciate you watching. Catch you on the next one.